Okay, how's it going? We're back. I am filming this video for my shop. This is going to be a weekly scores video. I did not go to the Sunday salvage sales because I had a party. Had a party Saturday all day, like an open house. People would come. I did hot drinks, hot toddies and tea, and I had some sodas and beers in the cooler. I feel like this should be a shop tour video too, but it's so dirty, but whatever. I also got, so instead of getting anything from Sunday salvage sales, I got some mail, some stuff I ordered off the eBays, and I went and bought a new, you can't really see it, tube bender. I bought this Venner tube bender. This looks like the old good 80s tube benders, but it is not machined at all. It's a piece of crap. I don't trust it. I don't like it. Someone popped up with a old used Speedway bender on Facebook for $150, which is more than I paid for the Venner. And I talked about $125, and I went and got it because it looks like my old 80s benchtop bender, which was the truth. So I got the Speedway one. I'm going to mount it instead. I mount a different spot too. I'm trying to figure out where to put stuff, So we'll look at all that stuff, and I got a CD player. I was looking forever. Everyone's charging crazy money for CD players. I wanted a simple boombox. I wanted at least 5 discs. I would have gone for a fancy stereo at 100 or 300 discs, but people want real money and no one could guarantee they worked or plugged them in. This flipping culture is out of control. So I just went for $25. He swears it works. I haven't even tested it. So we set that up. 5 discs. I've got to walk over every 5 minutes and change the CD. So let's check it out. Let's start. Well, this is the back corner of my shop. I'll try to overlay some photos. And this is my frame builder bench. So I got this little workbench. I got a steel plate. I got my vise. I got all my cutting and facing and reaming tools, taps, some frame size checking tools. I got my sandpaper. In my last video, I made a little rack out of an old bike frame to hold my sandpaper, which is fun. I got frame blocks. These are hardwood tube blocks milled exactly the size. So these are 1/8". So these will hold a tube perfectly tight. Clamp these down hard in the vise. They're not going to dent or ding or damage the tube at all. And I can file. I can put them in here and braze. I can do whatever I want. So I got a nice set of wood tube blocks. This is my favorite one. It's for chain stays and seat stays. So they're kind of V-cut for different thicknesses and tapers. You can mix and match them. It's got this round edge, so you can, because sometimes they're tapered, you can clamp them in the vise and it'll hold them at the taper without damaging them. I got some little ones that the frame builder had, some little ones made out of hardwood. I've made these out of softwood a bunch of times, just like clamp two pieces of wood together and drill holes. They kind of work and they slip and you stick sandpaper in, you're like, whatever. There's a hardwood one I use for rack tubing. As you can see, it is well used. I've hit this thing with a file and a hacksaw a zillion times, making a zillion racks. I've got this tool I found at an old car swap meet. Some guy told me it was like a guy who worked for Chrysler as a mechanic in the 40s machined this himself years ago. It's really a drill guide for tubes. You can clamp tubes. It's chamfered on the top, so I'm thinking maybe brake tubes and stuff, but it's got holes in it so you can clamp tubes and drill them. I love this block. I use this a zillion times, except the 3/8 size will often put a small dent in the tubes. So I had to stop using it because I was sick of finding those dents and filling them after I built racks. But where are these dents coming from? Oh, the other sizes are pretty good. So I use it for bolts and things a lot. I have to hold them and file them. I got cool stuff. I did this in a video recently. This is a guy in the Netherlands made this. It's a die. You can open up and you can stick tubes in here. And then it's got these little dudes. It's got a couple different shapes you put in here. Clamp it in the vise and smush it with chainstay dimples or fender stay dimples and tubes. That's cool. I used to have a arbor press that I brazed a plumber's elbow on for doing that. I'm probably gonna do that again. I got Tony Pereira's old one at the Breadwinner garage sale. He made this. I doubt it can work. How are you gonna squeeze that hard enough? Maybe get it on there and then kind of pinch it with a vice grip or something. I got this crazy one I made 5 or 7 years ago. So this is a just giant piece of bolt I brazed on here and then hand ground it down to size, ground it away to relief. Welded this thing up so you can put this on a bike that's already built. This will fit inside the bottom bracket shell and not hit the other stay. And you gotta have 2 guys holding it. I put a Sharpie line on the frame and have 2 guys holding it because it wants to move and roll and do stuff and twist this with a with a breaker bar, and you can, this side will sit against your frame, and this side will dimple, suck in, so you can make bikes that don't have enough tire clearance have more tire clearance with this. We'll warn you before you go out and build one. It's just a big C-clamp and some scraps of steel. That this will suck your frame in, and sometimes it'll crack the brazing on the brake bridge. So sometimes I've had to re-braze the brake bridge, and you definitely need an alignment table to, because your frame's like 135 and you have these dimples, it's gonna be like 120 when you're done. So you definitely have to bend it back out. So that's some cool stuff. I got all these cool braze-on jigs. These are just like old clamps with a mount on them, so you can clamp them onto a tube, and then it's got a little spring, so just puts a little gentle pressure to hold the braze on onto your tube. You get around it and braze it on. I will do videos very shortly on how I use a bunch of this stuff. Metal tubing blocks, more braze-on stuff, Candy Boss jigs, seat tube reamer, like some fun stuff. We'll do more videos because I got a guy coming in on Tuesday dropping off a bike, getting disc brakes added, the tabs added. I got a kid coming in to get some V-brake mounts added, hopefully this week. A couple other people have hit me up too, but I don't have solid appointments yet. And then I also have frames. Some of these frames are bikes I'm just planning on doing build videos on, building them up and putting them up for sale cheap and hoping they disappear. Help me funding buying more tools. Some of them like the 60 Allegro and the old 70s Raleigh and some other really cool bikes. The Tongay one, the Tongay 2 Novara Randonnée, I'm planning on doing serious mods on. Cantilever bosses for 650B, rack mounts, pump pegs, water bottle bosses, all new cable guides, like tricking them out, getting them powder coated, building them up, probably tricking them out and then trying to sell them to somebody who's willing to pay for their own powder coat and color they want, and then build up themselves or pay me to do. I dug out my old stickers. I had these stickers made in like 2011 for my frames. So this is a gold on transparent sticker paper. Those cheap stickers can do powder coats. You know, if the stickers get scruffy, you can pull one off and put a new one on. Fancy bikes do masks. So you paint the bike, and you put a reverse mask on, so it'd be like a photo negative image of this. Like it'd be all plastic with it cut out of my logo, and they airbrush the logo on in like cool gold, and then peel it off and then do the clear coat. We get chips and damage and stuff. You gotta hold the paint job. Paint job's expensive. Powder coats are cheap. They're pretty tough. Stickers are cheap. Easy to replace. There's a whole set of these as well, with where it says modified by Star Michael Bowman, and a whole set where it says handmade. So for the bikes that do heavy mods on, they get a new paint job or powder coat. Got a cool set of decals. It's fancy and handmade stuff, but it says modified instead of handmade because I didn't actually make them. I'm also working with these guys again. I can never pronounce their name, Schmidt or something. The Netherlands, they basically make little stamped metal glue-on back head badges. So basically stickers out of metal. Oh, here's an old one I had made when we had Northern Cycles, and this for our modified bikes because we had really fancy head badges made by a belt buckle company, and they were super expensive. And they only were super nice bikes, so we had these. These only cost $3 or $4 a piece. They're gorgeous. You can totally bend them. They'll fit any size head tube. You can peel them off and use them like a sticker. But this is just like aluminum and like antiqued. So I'm working with them. I'm probably going to order another batch of these. It's going to be like $350 for like 100 of them. So it's like I'm a little broke from starting the shop. I need to start doing some work and making some dough. So I'll get some of these, my Star Michael logo, and I'll put these on my handmade bikes and probably the mod bikes, or maybe I'll just use the stickers for the mod bikes. I don't know. Sometimes like the head badge is what makes the customer really want to go out and do all the extra work. Like they're really willing to spend extra money to get like the prettiness on there. So I don't think I'm going to deny people these $3 head badge stickers for a mod bike. Let's look at the stuff I got. So a few people brought me presents for an opening party. One cool dude brought me like a 6-pack of good beer. That was nice. One of my friends I've known forever does like evil bikes, the Cheever, does a bunch of stuff like that. He brought me the Sport Crown, and someone saw it, a picture on Instagram. Someone saw it, apparently this is his handwriting, like he gave it or sold it to Cheever. So this is a Richard Sachs Sport Crown, Richissimo stainless steel for a 1-inch threaded or threadless. Nice stainless Richissimo crown. I've used stainless crowns. They are a nightmare, hand cutting. a stainless crown down to size. The crown race is like impossible. You have blisters in your hands. So I do not use them usually. If I want to do a crazy bike, I might get a polished one or polish it myself, but I don't know if I'll ever use this or not. I might put it in my museum next to my Chris King one. One of the cool Bike Farm guys scored these in a free box from an eBay seller who quit. I got a bunch of free stuff out of the box too, but he was bringing stuff out for weeks, putting piles. This is an entire jar of new old stock Brev Campagnolo Grand Sport front dropouts. So this is like 50s and 60s, like second tier. I think it was top tier before they made Nova Record in 67. I think is when they started all the Nova Record stuff, and 68 for real. So this is more of the 50s and 60s. This doesn't have a raised lip around the face, but it is stamped campy. They are cool little, probably stamped steel dropouts, I guess. They might be forged steel. They have a little fender eyelet. So this is cool, a glass jar full of these. He also brought me, I'll show you. He also brought me these 2 glass jars, crazy candy jars. These are full of the Campy cable guide mounts. I'll say Brev Campy. There's a long one for the rear and a short one for the front. These on all vintage 60s and 70s and there are a lot of 80s bikes. These are brazed on the top of the bottom bracket shell next to the C2 for your cables to run. They run on top of the chainstays. There's modern bikes that usually go down underneath. Oh, there's at least a couple of chainstay braze-ons in there too. Oh. It's a big box. There's a bunch of other fun stuff in there. There's an old, looks like an 80s Greg LeMond fanboy magazine. $7. Set of what are possibly, no, they're definitely used, but barely. Aluminum Time Attack Multi-Flex pedals. I don't know, someone might be into those. They're cool. Time trial-y. I think it's even got like a time trial-y bike on the box. That Aero helmet and stuff for shaving a quarter of a second off your ride. So that was fun. Bunch more vintage Chinelli fork crowns. Fun stuff. Eating leftover snacks. There's a lot. So I need to be cleaning all this mess. But instead I'm adding to it. This is the ridiculous stereo I got. Check this thing out. Giant speakers. Tweeters and other speakers. It's boombox style, but it's not. It's a real stereo. 2 tape decks. 5-disc changer. Said it works. Never tried it. We'll find out. I got this. I know it was a bad idea. I couldn't help myself. Pretty sure I've ordered this before and hated it. But I did it anyways. This is a giant pack of cheap generic hacksaw blades from China. I feel like last time I ordered something like this, they went dull really fast. But there's a zillion of them, and it was like $12 for all of them versus like $12 for 5 of the good ones. I feel like you used to have to change these, like, the other ones they'd last for months, and these ones you'd have to change after every big project, like every couple of days I'd change them. So that's slightly annoying, but also would be good for when I do frame building class, because they can have all the hacksaw blades they can mess up and mangle. They can learn how to change them. It's kind of hard to change a hacksaw blade. It's counterintuitive, and it's good for people to get some practice in. So that'll last the rest of my life. And then I bought some labels from eBay. Big blue, I think it's like a 100 pack. Big blue paper tags that you hook to stuff. So I can label all the frames that are for sale. I like to inspect my frames, write down all the info. Same with my wheels. Like, write down the round or true, or are there a problem? I write down, oh, here's a big green pack of wires. I think I got these for the wheels, are a little smaller. So I put the price on and what year and, you know, the ODL, the hubs. Mostly if the wheels have an actual problem, I just don't sell them. Just recycle them. And then I got these little cute ones. This is a 1,000-piece tag set in colors. So I'm gonna label all the valuable little things with these. And most stuff I'm not gonna label. If anything's like, you know, 10 or 15 bucks, would be like, front railers are all gonna be $15 unless they have a tag because it's like a dirt race or something fancy that has to be more. So these should last forever. I also go to the Goodwill bins a lot. I got some stuff. I got this ridiculous thing. I've never used one of these before. I mean, I did cooking, But one day I visited Breadwinner years and years and years ago, and I like sand all my Brazons and rub alcohol and blah blah blah. And Breadwinner was just like throwing the Brazons in one of these things, spraying them with like simple green degreaser, then blowing them off with the air and being like, "That's clean enough. That's all you need to do." So I might start trying that for some stuff. So that is a frame building tool now. I also got a giant bag of rubber bands at the bins. Rubber bands are kind of handy for bike stuff, keeping stuff together, but usually they get old and brittle and die when they're stretched out and wrapped around things really fast. They're not super handy. I want them once in a while. I don't want to pay money for brand new ones. And so I got them for the little bins where everything's $2 a pound, so this is like 50 cents. What else did I get? I grab every Sharpie I find at the bins. They're always good. Saves me $2 a piece. I love Sharpies. Got a little snap clip. It's got some snacks here. And a fun little, really old vintagey patinaed alligator bottle opener. Why not? I don't know. It was there. I'm digging around. I got some dog harnesses and some other stuff that's not bikey, so I didn't bring them. Let's look at these dudes. So here's the new bench I just finished building. I have very little on it. My fire extinguisher there, so I don't know where else to put it. I got tubing benders, my extra oxyacetylene torches. I got the big Venner tubing bender bolted down, but it is like, dude, this thing it's like a cheap casting of a good one. Like, this thing can't slide because it's like not machined. It's like it doesn't move. There's like one thread on the bolt. It's too short. It's a bunch of annoying stuff. So this is the Speedway one I got off the internets. It's basically the same thing. It actually only goes up to 7/8 instead of 1 inch. It's got a real serial number. Everything's like machined nicely. Things actually fit. It says hand pipe bender. Like all the threads are all nice. Like things actually. Oh! Did it on purpose. I'm like totally pro. On my Venner one, this thing doesn't even turn. If I take it off and file burrs off it, on this one it turns nice. This bolt actually fits in the slot. The slot is machined. Like, it's nice like my old one. Boom. It goes from 3/8, which is really the only size I ever use. I bend all my rock tubing in this. So it's not a perfect bend. I have to futz it a little bit. Sometimes, it's a little bigger than 1/4 inch or 5/16. There's little grooves. Sometimes I have to get it to lay nice and flat. It goes 3/8, 1/2 inch. Sometimes I do for bridges. 3/16, 5/8, 3/4, and 7/8, which is 22/2, which is stem size. So I've used that a couple of times, like on the stem of my rando bike I have currently. I bent that in the 7/8 one. As hard as I could on the bench bolt in the floor, foot up against the bench, bend and bend, and I barely got a little bend in it. So I used some really thick stem. I'm so paranoid, I overdo stuff all the time. So I used insanely, like I got a million steel stems here that are all like a tenth as thick as the one I used on the bike. So I'm a nut. It's also got some big giant 3/4, and I think 1 inch. 1 inch for square tubing. I've never tried any of those, so mostly this just sits as a complete kit under my bench in the plastic box with just the 3/8 die on it. And it comes with its own cheater bar and its own super thick heavy duty leveragey handle, which is still hollow but very thick and very heavy. Here's the back corner of my shop. I have my drafting table out, and then I have some big stand with some tools on it I'm not sure what I'm going to do with. I have my alignment table, my jig, and my torches hidden back here. My normal stand. This is still the girls' stuff. But I have all my stickers out. I did do a frame drawing. I'm going to do a video on how to do a frame drawing. Probably next. Probably this one. So I've done one forever. I was playing with it. I might change it a little bit. I'm trying to talk myself into building a modern bike for modern audiences and for my own comfort. It's basically going to be a hybrid with disc brakes as a Pro Tour, as a city bike. But I like pretty old bikes, and I'm having a hard time getting excited for this instead of going nuts. I'm building something really vintage and pretty that I can barely ride anymore because, oh man, really ought to build this bike. Then it means I have to buy a disc hub and disc brakes and all the stuff I don't have. We'll see. Here's my big present from the bike farm guy. Brought me all this stuff. So much stuff, fork crowns, Brazons, a basket, stuff. Here's my main tool bench. I got my old crappy Craftsman grinder mounted on here today. It's all rusty and crappy. Got it for $10 from Sunday salvage sales last summer. They probably had it forever. It's got a light bulb, it works, the wire wheel works, the grinder works. It's got a brake built in, which is cool. I made this little cupcake tray, or I got this at the bins. Got it assembled, never putting cookies on it, no one cared. I was trying to be cute. I'll put it away and save it next time. This is also the main snack station. I got snacks. Junk food. Here's like a work table I got out of a free box. I found this gold stuff at the bins. Had free drinks. Got all the koozies everywhere. Turned this weird rolly thing I got for free. It's like a fender stand. This big green thing I got for free from some friends. Big rolling cart thing. I'm gonna let the girls up front have it for their storage. There's not really room in here, but it came great for the party. Put a bunch of stuff on it. No one bought any of that stuff. I did sell a couple of used fender sets, which is nice. And people got a few handfuls of parts and bells and things. So that was nice. I probably did like $100 in little random sales throughout the night. So that's what let me go buy that tubing vendor and that stereo. So worth it, man. Even though I spent $100 on snacks, barely got eaten. And I have my big crappy old patina E-Pop tent. I have my truck parked up front. I wanted to ride my bike, but it was raining. I had a bunch of stuff to bring, like the pop tent, so I drove my truck. My truck's in a lot of my photos, so I figured it'd be like a good landmark too. Had a pop tent out front. And this wall of fenders. So this is a backup tool board I made for my house, like my old shop stand with my tools mounted on it, the rattle, rattle, rattle. I had this on the opposite wall next to my door, so I have big tools on. I brought it over here because I don't know what to do with it. I went and bought the biggest screws they have next door at the hardware store and screwed me to display some fenders. I haven't sold any fenders off of it. I just had it outside with the pop tent. So they'll probably get broken down, put out of the way to like figure out what to do with it. It did come in pretty handy. I always leave it in the way since eventually I plan on putting another bench or something here on wheels, pull it outside, put a big fake wall, a tool board on it that sticks out so I can put retail stuff on. Have to be my student bench, like an extra vise, some of the frame building stuff. I get to teach some classes someday. And then as you can see here, this is a shelf my friend dumpster dove years ago on the side of the road. It's too big. Pulled it apart, put it in storage. It's a little bit warpy and weird. It's so big. It is like 8 feet long this way and like almost 6 feet tall this way. I'm 6 foot, so it's pretty tall. So this all screwed together, put a bunch of extra screws in it. Put parts on. People loved it. It's pretty. Haven't dug through it. This is the awkward area. So these are stairs and a little walkway to go up into the kitchen, the main shop. And I have a couple shelves. I think some tires and wheels up high, even though it's an awkward turn stair area. Right. They had this one piece of pegboard just sitting here, so I just screwed it up with some wine corks and spacers. Staple guns, some of this old vintagey stuff I got from salvage sales recently. Started putting my CD players up here. I got my CD racks, my tape racks. Up high shelves with the CD player up in the corner, more CDs, so I'm gonna put that big stereo up here. Got a bunch of storage on top for extra shipping junk I got for eBay. It's getting sick. Behind this green thing I have one little short shelf with several wheel sets. It's really crammed in there. So that's my little shop tour. I'm gonna come from outside. So that's my little messy shop tour. I'm standing outside now. All the stuff inside, the folders right here. I have to clean this place up, get that CD player hooked up. Maybe Mountain Dew, Bender, and then probably time to go home, take the dog to the dog park. Tomorrow I'm gonna come in and get a full day in. And this brake bike's get dropped off tomorrow night. Maybe I can get that done on Wednesday. If not Thursday. Get some of my stuff done too. Start making some videos on doing some Brazon frame building stuff because it's fun. So, anyways, that's it. Sorry I'm in sweatpants and stuff because I'm all hungover and still a little bit. So my voice is all bad. But anyways, thanks for watching.